Uh, how's everybody doing? Well, pretty good, pretty good. On Thursday, I returned back to New York. I leave at 2:30 in the afternoon, and I should be there by the evening. And working from there until I get the surgeries. And then here, wait, the Arizona trip will be postponed because after they do the surgery, which will be on the 24th of October for the two root canals, the extraction that they were supposed to do on September 14th was postponed by the state of Texas because of the hurricane. Then I canceled the second appointment, which was supposed to be September 23rd. Um, I was in Florida for my birthday weekend, remember? And I didn't feel like being in pain from the extraction, being on antibiotics, painkillers, only to get two major surgeries for a root canal. That was too much. That's too much. So I'm gonna stay in New York and do them there, and stay there until I heal. Then return to Houston, and my goal is to find a place either right here in Sugarland or in the downtown district area. So that'll be my goal, especially for the coming year. Okay. Now, I also wanted to take the time to discuss about the birth chart. You know, I've written extensively about the birth chart, what it is, um, everything about it. But I have a lot of people that still don't know what a birth chart is, and they ask me where can they find it on my website, on YouTube. Well, guys, don't forget, I do have a website, um, the People's Astrologer. I've had that website for 25 years, and a lot of the questions that you guys ask are in that website. But you know what I realized? And Ms. Farmer brought this to my attention. Um, I had no idea that with the millennials, this generation in particular, um, don't really seem very fond of reading. This is something that I took for granted. I'm 54 years old. So when we were going back to the 1990s, I was already 21 years old. The 80s, of course, I was a teenager. But then I was in more mid adult in my mid 20s. It was still the 1993, 1994. I was 29 in 1995. In 1995, I was 29 years old. Um, there was no internet. We had cell phones, and we had just learned about getting cell phones because before that it was the beepers, in the 80s. So these technologies were very new to us. It's second nature to us now, half a century gone by. But here's the thing, I grew up in a school system where I had to read. Now, kids have this. But before this, is this. And if you want to find out at whatever dictionary, you go here and you look, oh, Larry, A, B, C, D, E, F. Was that Larry? Larry. Larry. Oh, well, I gotta check. Oh, A. Oh, it goes alphabetical. Okay. All right. Okay. 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 Oh, okay. Now I just spent what? 10 minutes? 15 minutes? But what's the name of what does Larry mean? Now you go here and you go Click, and there's the answer, what Larry says. What took 15 minutes to find out here took less than a second to do here. Now, understand that when you grow up in a generation where you're learning from here, it's very hard to go back to this. First of all, you don't know anything about this because you was born in an age where this was done away with, and now this is the new normal. So now I understand why the people of the millennial generations don't like to read. I've heard this a lot from educators. Educators, not just in New York, California, Connecticut, some of the main institutions of learning. Um, Even in studies that they've done in Yale, Harvard, Carnegie Mellon, University of Pennsylvania, it's saying that the millennials, unless it doesn't come on a cell phone, or if it's not on a tablet or a laptop, and you can go doo, 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 and you get what you want, then this type of discipline to read, to know, will be impossible. Especially if you were not trained to go here. It's impossible then to go here. Then this becomes a chore, problem. And that is the issue now. Many of you, when you buy the birth chart, I give you a terms and services. Ms. Farmer gives you a terms and services. I wasn't aware that many of you don't read it. And many of you don't understand how to use the service. And a lot of people ask me all kinds of questions. And I'm like, wait a minute, didn't I put this somewhere? Then Ms. Farmer lets me know, oh, it's in the terms of service. So I realized that I had to switch it up. I have to make it generation friendly. Not the content, but the approach to the content. So I've made this video so I can tell you what the birth chart is. I don't think you guys have an idea of what important that is and what it really is. It never dawned on me that you guys were not reading the information. Or maybe you were reading the information and for some of you it was over the top, and for some of you it was too long, and for some of you maybe too technical, and maybe for some others it was just like, well, what he's saying. And I had different prices there, different prices here. No. Yeah, Neptune. So well, the fact that the millennials, and this is something that's been proven, not just millennials in the United States, but all across the globe, because of this computer and this thing, it has changed the effect of learning and assimilating information and knowledge. Now, a lot of you think that I'm famous and I'm this and all that. And as alpha as I am, and as Leo and Aries and narcissistic as I can be, one thing I am not going to now, I'm going to be very humble here. I don't think I'm really that famous. I don't think I'm famous at all. I don't think of myself like that. I just don't. I don't think of myself. I love the fact that I got 48,000 subscribers. I can handle that. I'm good. I don't need all that. And it was never my intention to do this on YouTube. My stuff was always private. Always private and very 12th house. Very in my books. But I'm very Virgo. At the end of the day, I'm still Virgo. So I'm in the end of the day doing this most of the time, all day long. Yeah. Even though I have this, I still walk around with books. You guys are always saying that you don't find things on the internet. Nobody wants to spend the time to write it any more than people want to spend the time to read it. So now you have to find ways of shortcutting. But if you're a true scholar, there's no shortcut to education. There's just some education that you cannot shortcut. And you have to run into this. So I say that not to pow, but because you need to find a way to make it work for you and still get what you need and not shortchange yourself. Don't shortchange yourself. Okay? So this is what I'm going to do. For the birth chart is, hold on a second. Oh, you ever get that ringing in your ear? Oh, yeah. Oh, I hate it. A little red wine with Merlot. It's okay. The ones drink red wine with Merlot and eat. But my breakfast. So understand that the ages have changed and the modality of learning and people feeling comfortable um, with the information that they get, or even the process of getting the information. You guys are lucky. Back in the day, if I wanted to write a book report, that was the hardest shit I had to do. I mean, a book report had different sections in which you had to write the report. That's not hard enough. That was okay. But oh my God, what about the footnotes? You have to put numbers in the sentences and connect them at the bottom of the page, a separate part of the page where you put down what the footnotes is. Right? And oh my God, that would take as much as writing them thing on the paragraph. Oh, and then you're not done. Oh God, you're not done. Then you gotta write the bibliography, and you gotta go by, and it has to be a certain way that you write the bibliography, and then you gotta put in like, oh my God, that could spend your good 20 to 2 hours putting the bibliography together, putting the footnotes together. Then you gotta put the prologue, the epilogue. Like, I mean, to write a fucking book back in my day was to write a fucking book. you know? Now it's ding, ding, ding. Put away. It's cute. It's cute. But are you getting the quality of knowledge that you deserve? I'm just saying. So the birth chart, to discuss what the birth chart is and why it costs $360 for 2 hours, and then in 30 days you get a video. And the video is a lot intense, and it gives a prediction for the entire year, depending on the day that you start. It is 2 hours, $360. Back in my day, when there was no computers and there was no internet, if you wanted to get a birth chart from a professional astrologer, it would cost you $1,000 to prepare the birth chart, and then $2,000 to $3,000 an hour. You can go and talk to any in New York City. Madonna's astrologer, whom I know, I live downtown New York City. Ooh, do you know how much money on Park Avenue, Columbus Avenue, Fifth Avenue? Do you know how much money those astrologers charge? Thousands per hour, thousands. And they have different categories. The private people, they charge hundreds to thousands an hour. If it's a company, if it's a business, yeah, because you have companies and businesses that use astrologers. I remember I used to work for this company, and they were in charge of HR, human resources. The person knew the boss, and the person to the boss, I know Fernando, an astrologer, he can do the birth chart of all of your employees, and he can tell you what they're fit for. He did that. It improved his business 100%. He was able to match the jobs with people's personalities and ego. So astrology is very lucrative. It's done in business, and it's a high price profession. I've never known any astrologer to be poor. Not this caliber. Doing birth charts for countries, for presidents, for companies, for people. That's the kind of astrologer I am. But you're not going to see many astrologers like us out here because it's very, 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 very expensive. But this is not expensive. $360 is 365 days. So it's less than $1 a day. Because to do a lot of charts for one person, I have to keep them disciplined. And they're very intense. Almost everything is covered. There is nothing uncovered. For example, I will talk about how you look, why the way you look, the way you do, and why you're here. Why were you born in the millennials versus the 80s versus the 90s? How long have you been journeying soul-wise? Oh, of course, if you're below 27 years old, then it will be modified because then there are certain things that you cannot know this intensely, this early in your development. It can be a little shaky. You know what you're here to do. I will focus that age, those of you who are age 27 and down. 19, I cannot go below 18. It is illegal to do a birth chart to someone below 18, they need parental consent. And that's a law here in New York State and in other states. Because this is psychological. And it's a decoder. You're being decoded, dematrixed, for real. So the real you is gonna be known. Then you have to know how to handle and deal with that, right? Um, I don't discuss death, but I will discuss illness, why you have it, if you get sick, what it will be of, and why. And is it genetic, or is it something that you developed in several lifetimes? Or is it something that you are capturing from somebody else? What is your career? What are you here to do? Are you here to be a painter or a dishwasher? And even if you are a dishwasher or a painter, will you be happy doing that? What's wrong with it? Can it get you to where you want to be? Remember, Jesus Christ was a carpenter. He wasn't a scholar, but he spoke like a scholar. Well, you could say the same thing here. Same thing. You know, and a carpenter, let me tell you, ain't nothing easy about being a carpenter. You gotta be a smart motherfucker, big, to be a carpenter. You gotta know shit. You gotta know all about math and grades and concepts and what? What? But being a carpenter is no little sheep herder of Galilee, Israel. No, it's like a grand architect of the universe. A carpenter is like an architect of the universe. What the universe is, he knows. And it's a very humbling profession, let me tell you. So, your profession is very important. What are you here to do? Why are you here to do it? How long are you here to do it? Are you going to have two careers? Are you going to work for somebody? Or are you going to be self-employed or be an independent contractor? Or have your own business? Do you want to have children? Do you want to be married? Do you want to be married but not have children? Or married with children? You know, what are the things that are most important to you in life? You know, very serious things. And things that begin to happen to us at age 27. From age 27 to 33, this is the generation that you'll be having birth charts. 27 to 33. Because that's when life is looming at 22, 23, 24, 25. It gets jumpy at 26, 27, and then it starts popping by Saturn return, age 29 and a half and 33. Now it's popping. Okay? So you want to be ready. You got to be ready. So the birth chart addresses those things, and not just me. Other astrologers that call themselves astrologers and cast birth charts are able to do the same thing I'm able to do. So you could either choose me or choose an astrologer in your area. But now you know what an astrologer is and what he does. And if this is the type of astrologer you're looking for, then it'll be men like me or women like me. Not no parlor or superficial. You're not going to find astrologers that are going to be superficial with you, because this is not a superficial business. This is a decoder. It lets you know actually, it lets you know the architect of the game. And you want to be ahead of the game, don't you? Especially if success, money, status is important to you, like it is to all of us to a certain degree. We want to be able to know how to master money. There is a house and sign that rules money. It's good to know about it so you can understand the mysteries behind money and have it demystified. And they get into the groove to get it together. So guys, if you're interested in the birth chart, I'll begin today because I opened the sanctions for birth charts. You're going to pay it in Zelly, right? 347-485-6258. There is a window. I do 10 every 12 days. So the first 10 that come in, I'm locking. And then that's it. And then I give the announcement for more. That way I keep an even pace. Everybody gets read and there's no backup. Okay? And I think that's it. Well, actually, let me answer some questions. Ooh, I almost sounded like a Tweety bird because of the tongue. Let me answer some questions. Okay. Hello, hello. Uh-huh. Well, there's no facade here. I don't even know what that word is. This is what you get. Let's see. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Well, they'll get around. Everything else is very, very much clear. And the thing is that this is a wonderful way, and I had thought about it. Um, um, I was sleeping, and I got up at 3 in the morning. And I'm like, well, I don't get up this early. So they get up, revamp, redo. Because, you know, that as a shaman, you know, that astrology is one thing, shamanism is another. As a shaman, and you know, if you don't know what a shaman is, a shaman is he's like a witch, like a wizard, like a sorcerer. I know those words may seem uncomfortable, but that's what they call us. We are people that can, you know, do healing, do prayers, do intercessions, like Jesus, like Buddha, like Krishna, like Brahma. You know, it's no different than any of these great figures or gods. And it's very difficult work because we're constantly dealing with spiritual forces that are there to disbalance us and knock us off our game. And there's no rest from that because we are living in the devil's world, you know, the planet. So it's a constant activity to be in prayer, to be still, and to always be alert. And as a person who heals other people and put my hands on people here, you know, you're transferring energy. It's a transfer of energy. It also happens on the phone, on the laptop, the tablet. It can happen if you're looking at you from a video phone. You can still transmute energy that way. So when I find myself in situations of battle in this area, in this dimension, because that's the dimension that shamans deal with, then we have to separate from the physical and put a pause because then the first line of defense is you. We are here to protect the public, and that is what shamans do. And astrologers are here to educate the public. So each priesthood has its purpose. That's all. Okay. All right then. Guys, thank you. I'll be waiting for your call.